massive forests, bigger than Luxembourg, a psychological weapon. But who really owns it? A tax-free foundation, hidden from the world. IKEA, the two...
If you've ever felt trapped inside an IKEA, wandering past identical fake living rooms looking for the exit, you aren't bad at navigating. You are successfully completing a psychological obstacle course. Retail architects call this the Gruen effect. Removing windows and clocks lowers your cognitive defenses. The one-way path creates false scarcity. Unsure if you need cheap tea light candles? You toss them in your cart anyway, knowing you cannot turn back. This system of deliberate disorientation works effectively. Every year, 860 million people submit themselves to this maze. That is more annual visitors than Disney's theme parks and Netflix's subscriber base combined. Keeping that many people trapped inside a massive warehouse presents a biological problem. Shoppers get tired and hungry. To solve this, the world's largest furniture retailer also operates as the world's sixth largest restaurant chain. In 2024 alone, IKEA sold 1.2 billion Swedish meatballs. They sell this food at a deliberate financial loss, using it as a biological subsidy. A fed, rested shopper stays in the building longer and spends more. Sustaining this 45 billion euro machine of impulse buys and ultra-low prices requires a constant, massive input of physical resources. Almost 60% of IKEA's products are made of wood. To meet that demand, one tree is cut down somewhere on Earth every single second. The drive for resource efficiency that defines this scale began in 1943. Growing up on a poor Swedish farm, a young Ingvar Kamprad figured out he could buy matches in bulk and sell them individually for pennies. He learned early that volume beats profit margins. When he eventually pivoted to selling cheap furniture, the established Swedish furniture cartel organized a nationwide boycott to crush his business. Cut off from local suppliers, Kamprad flew into communist Poland to source his inventory at a fraction of the cost. To get that Polish furniture back to Sweden efficiently, his team started removing table legs to fit the units into cars. By shifting the final assembly labor onto the customer, IKEA eliminated the expense of shipping empty air. Flat packing allowed prices to drop significantly. Kamprad realized that by controlling the logistical chain, he could maintain an operating margin of just 3% and still build a global empire. At this scale, extreme optimization requires moving beyond the traditional supply chain. IKEA has shifted from buying timber to owning the ground where it grows. The company has become one of the largest private landowners on the planet. They control over 330,000 hectares of global forest, an area larger than the entire country of Luxembourg. While the company points out that it plants 14 million seedlings every year, critics argue this strategy amounts to forest colonization, accusing IKEA of rapidly depleting unprotected old-growth ecosystems to feed its production lines. Forests are only one part of their physical holdings. To shield itself from energy market volatility, IKEA now operates with the scale of a medium-sized power company. They have committed 7.5 billion euros to a renewable energy portfolio that includes 547 wind turbines and nearly 1 million solar panels. IKEA now generates more electricity globally than it actually consumes. Their energy independence has turned into a highly profitable surplus revenue stream. These physical efficiencies, the flat packing, the forests, the power grids, meet their final iteration in the way IKEA is legally structured. Despite generating over 45 billion euros a year, no single person, shareholder, or government actually owns the 200 billion euro IKEA empire. Retail stores belong to the Dutch Stichting Inca Foundation, a tax-exempt charity. The intellectual property is held by the secretive Interago Foundation in Liechtenstein. Stores pay a 3% royalty, siphoning over $1 billion annually into this offshore foundation. Kamprad drove a battered Voldvolp and flew economy class to project an image of folksy humility. He engineered this corporate labyrinth to shield his business from Sweden's wealth taxes and to ensure no external market forces could ever break it apart. The next time you feel lost in that blue and yellow maze, holding a €1 bookshelf, remember exactly where you are. You are walking through a tax-exempt corporate state that controls global forests, power grids, and human psychology.
$45 billion in revenue, but where does the money go? Hidden behind complex foundations, that is how you build an empire. Subscribe to Wealth Decoded,